Hi guys, welcome to another episode of EverydayEady, where we literally talk about anything and everything. No topic is too much, and today we're going to touch on this self-love journey again because it is literally my mission. I breathe it day in and day out. But my husband over here, we're allowed to disagree. We don't always have to be in sync, I guess, or we don't always have to agree on topics. It's like you guys. You guys are totally allowed to have your own views. I'm just voicing what has worked for me and what I believe in, and he's voicing
my take on it.
Your take on it, right? And I think it's cool when you put yourself out there like we've been doing with our podcast. Of course, you're going to get people that don't always disagree with what you, or don't always agree with what you say. And we've had a few comments back, and we love that. Like, I think it's good. Like not that it was confrontation, but we have a few little things that were brought up about the self-love topic, and I think we just wanted to dive more into that because I think it's important on both of our journeys that we're on loving who we are, right? And that confidence journey. And I think it comes from within. For me, I totally believe that you should love yourself enough to want to, and be free to love yourself just as you are.
Yeah.
And your take?
I think that you should love yourself enough to want to be a better version of yourself. I don't think that you should not love yourself. That's not what I said. But I think the whole
you said
the whole love yourself,
quote unquote, loving yourself is bullshit.
I said I believe that a person should work on their self-confidence and their self-worth. I also believe that lots of people use the love yourself the way you are as an excuse to be lazy and not work on themselves. And I mean that. I said, look, in life, people are always changing. Every day you encounter an experience that changes decisions you are going to make in the future. You are forever changing. The thing is that you have to make a decision to change for the better, or if you're just going to let outside influences change you without your control. You decide.
Totally. So if you guys aren't watching this live, he was reading that off his phone of what he had commented on our last one of our podcasts, talking about
go on.
true self-love. And we're in our studio here, and our dog's trying to eat the cord right off of our
Puppies.
He's a puppy. But anyways, like we were saying, if you want to read one of the comments, this is what somebody had said, because I was talking on my stories about true radical love, self-love, and loving yourself just as you are. I think that's absolutely beautiful. Like, I don't think there's a type, a body type, a shape, or a way that you need to be. Like society, like I don't think that exists. Whatever you are happy with, I think, is your own form of self-love and what you think is acceptable. Everybody's is going to be different, right?
I think that, because what they said was, I love that you promote body positivity and to love who you are. I'm also confused because you and your husband literally contradict this in your last podcast, that if you love who you are as is, you're just stuck and not making yourself better. And I said, in regards to the podcast, I also saw that he 100% has a clip from the podcast on his page with the caption, "Love yourself as you are," is an excuse to not be better. Then proceeds to say it's an excuse to be lazy. Yeah, no.
And I'm disagreeing with what this person said. I think they're just a little confused with where we were going.
In the podcast, when I went on my rant or whatever, you're like, yes, because I was talking about how you need to better yourself. I don't know. I haven't gone back and seen exactly what we meant, but you promote self-love,
confidence, and loving who you are.
I work with people to try and help them better themselves. It's something that me and you are both very interested in and 100%. Invested in, is helping people become better versions of themselves.
The best versions of themselves.
And if that means staying the way that you are and loving who you are and enjoying your life that way, you're totally cool with that. Mine is, if that's what you want, like, I'm cool with that too, but I just don't like when people use that as an excuse to not do something.
100%.
Like it's like, oh, I'm way overweight.
And I'm out of breath, and I can't keep up with my kids, and I'm not sleeping, and I have, like, if there's a list of things that are...
So, well, let's work on that.
Yeah.
It's not...
I think we just get scared sometimes and thinking that these things can be a lot to tackle, and And lots of people aren't in the self-development world or don't even know that really exists, and we've been in it for quite some time.
Yeah, well,
not saying we're professionals, but I think even if you do, I think that true self-love and loving yourself just as you are gives you that permission to realize, okay, like me, I love myself 100% as I am. Does that mean I don't want to like rage out this next 3 months and like be in the best shape of my life for summer? Yeah. There's still things I want to work on and constantly evolve and change and just test what I'm fully capable of.
And I think like loving yourself as who you are is like a big part of that would be acknowledging your flaws and acknowledging your weak points too.
Yes.
And then being like, okay, and being like, okay,
yeah,
okay, I'm not good at that, and either work around those and focus really on your strengths,
right?
Or if it's something that is holding you back or breaking you down, or it's
I think that's perfect.
Then it's something that you should work on and try and make better. Like it's not everybody needs to have 6-pack abs.
No.
But then at the same time, like people who were athletes when they were younger, who are in really good shape, who aren't in good shape now later on in their life, and then like for them maybe to get that self-confidence back or whatever, they have to be in that good shape. Mm-hmm. But that comes with, that's a mindset that comes from being disciplined and stuff, not just the 6-pack set of abs isn't, you can draw them on you and it doesn't change your mindset, right? It's the work and the discipline that you put in there to
be that person, right?
And then that's the person that they liked, and that was their journey, and that the journey that they were in and pushing themselves was where they got their confidence from, not the 6-pack abs.
Right. And I think like whatever it is in that area that you're trying to, like, for me, everybody's evolving and self-development is different, right? And it can be just as something as simple as just wanting to learn a new skill. Like I love like learning about like some of my friends, if like they just want to learn how to do a new recipe or learn how to bake, and that's something that they evolve in and being a better baker. Good.
Change is good.
Change is good. It doesn't have to be something huge and magnificent.
How long has it been? Oh, like everybody, midlife crisis. Well, so no, people just get bored of maybe where they're at or what they were doing.
But they want to change.
The situation, and they want to change, so they make a change.
Like I think it's Tony Robbins' words where he says, "If you're not growing, you're dying." And I totally believe that. Like I've been in those phases of my life where you just kind of feel stuck or numb or something's dull, and maybe you're just I hate to use the word half-assing it, but you're just like kind of like just I don't know, like for me, like sometimes
just walking around with your head down fucking kicking rocks in life.
Yeah, and I feel like I've given up on myself a little bit, but then when you see that little lighter spark and you start to do more of those things that light you up, or you push yourself, like you said, to something like that you weren't quite sure if you were capable of, but I
restarted 75 hard 3 goddamn times.
The discipline just to like, right?
I've done 75 hard 3 times before this, and every single time I nailed it in 75 days.
Right.
And then now this time it's been like flaw. Oh, I missed this. Oh, go back. It's like, God damn it, where's my drive? And so I started literally again today. And I said, all right, no, it's here. Fucking doing this, because I know that for me, I've done it before, and I said, no, I need that drive, that self-confidence, that push to get through it. It's not a fitness thing at all. Like 75 hard is not. It's a mindset thing, and then it's that once you start getting into those like 40 to 50 days, it's in your brain. It's like you're like, oh yeah, and then when you're around people that are doing something where they're like half-assing or making excuses, you're like fuck, don't bring that shit around me, right? Because like
you're leveling up yourself, and it takes, like you said, it's not a fitness journey for you. The confidence comes from doing the things you said you were going to do, and that discipline. It's incredible. It's
the nights where I was out at Everyday's, I worked 16 hours. I worked up before I went, worked 16 hours, came back, got, I guess the kids were in bed when I got back. And then I got a workout in outside. I had to get my outside workout in.
Wasn't it like 11:30?
Yeah, and it was like, and then actually I think it was after midnight by the time I was
You had to be up for like 5 o'clock for work.
And then I slept for 2.5 hours and I went back to work again. But, and it was like, I don't feel like doing this. And then you force yourself to do it. And then after you're like, right? And you're like,
a little chip on the old shoulder.
Ain't nobody else out here doing this, right? It just gives you that, like, I don't know,
But that's totally my mentality too, where I think like in that quote unquote self-love journey, I think when you're brave enough, like you said, and courageous enough to know the things about yourself that you do want to tweak and work on, I think that is more true self-love, and being like, I don't feel comfortable being naked.
I don't think so.
I want to work on
Lots
that.
of people use the self-love to put the fucking newspaper on the shit and the piss that's sitting there and just cover it up or pull the sheets over the flaws. It's like, well, that's not. I don't think that's.
I want you to love yourself.
You're not acknowledging the shit where you're letting yourself down.
Yeah.
And then just putting sheets over that and masking it to be like, oh, it's like, well, no, like it's like different but the same. But like I know I always reference health. And I was talking to Rand, a guy that's kind of mentoring me and some stuff, and
100%.
I was talking to him the other day, and I was talking about a video, and there's a video that I seen, and it brought tears to my eyes, and I think I actually shared it, and I said, well, if you know, you know, like this is why, and it's this old man, and he's living with his kids. Mm-hmm. He's old, and his daughter keeps walking by, and he keeps reaching over, if you can't see me or whatever, but I'm reaching over, and he's grabbing a weight, and he's lifting the weight up with two hands over above his head and up, and then he's gradually getting, and she keeps seeing him, and it's more, and he's got a little bit bigger weight, little bit bigger weight, little bit bigger weight, and then it shows a scene, and it's Christmas time, and they're decorating the Christmas tree, and he picks his grandkid up, and he lifts her up, and she puts the star on top of the tree. So it's like, what are you... You can, fuck, I don't give a shit, man. Go be unhealthy, eat your shit, use whatever excuses you want. I don't fucking care. But if you're looking at stuff and you're looking at the big picture and the big picture of life and stuff, then you have to look at some of your flaws and some of your health or your eating.
Be honest with yourself.
Or I'm sucking back ciggy darts lately like a madman.
Yeah.
Right? And I have a game plan in my way that I'm gonna execute quitting it, and I'll be done.
Right.
But it's it's working towards that. It doesn't have to be right now, but like my big grand scheme of things is I want to be healthy for my kids and I want to be around with my grandkids. So that's why I choose to eat healthy. That's why I choose to be fit, because it's good for my brain. That's why I choose to work hard and try and do some things differently and build some stuff, because it's for a future for us and for our kids. And that's what I want. I don't, like, honestly, negative feedback. If you don't want to do that shit,
great, fine. I don't. Yeah, and that's just it. It's totally, everybody's in their own journey, their own game, and totally like capable of doing whatever they want to do. But
if you're sitting there and some days and you're like, oh, I wish I was doing that, but I just don't know how, or oh, you just have that itch and you know there's more and you want to push yourself or whatever. Well, there's also a lot of tools that I've learned, and there's people that I've helped guide, and there's people that you're helping do better and stuff like that too. So if that is something that you want to do, that you want to better yourself, then reach out to people, to coaches, to mentors, get on YouTube, watch videos, listen to this, listen to that, and educate yourself a little bit and take the steps to fucking get better.
Right? My girlfriend, Carrie, I'll name drop her because she's amazing, is actually a coach that I've used in my journey here. And she posted something along the lines of that people think nowadays having a coach is more of a privilege. And she had said it's more of a necessity. And I thought, damn, is that not the truth? Where like, I feel like people think you have to...
How's it a privilege? Why? Because you can afford it? Well, you know how many people can't afford a coach and then they decide to sell a vehicle or not go on a trip.
Or don't buy a coffee every day.
Or go down in the basement and all of your Rubbermaids and totes full of shit that you don't use and maybe sell some of it so you can afford it. And then you get the education that you need to level up a little bit.
And it changes your whole life.
Yeah.
Like I'm starting a program in April with a lady, and it's way out of my price range, but I know what I'm going to do with her, and I know the quality of work she does, that it's something that I know investing in myself like that, it's going to be something that I will not regret. Where it's when you're investing in yourself,
the return is 100%.
The return is 100% because you're dedicated to making yourself a better person each step of the way. And even if it's just one little, like, it doesn't have to be a big thing. Maybe it's just a little 15-degree little tweak that I do. I'm so proud of myself for taking that step and wanting to find out that there's more in myself, that I'm capable of more, because I'm the one holding myself back. Nobody else is. It's me versus me at the end of the day.
Sometimes I'm holding you back. I'm like, whoa, lady, pull the reins back a little bit.
Well, because I got a lot of crazy ideas, but like somebody's got to be the dreamer and somebody's got to be the doer. Like I could dream all day, right? So sometimes we just got to rein it in and actually do the doing.
It's just, I mean, it comes down to, and then like that's the thing too. Like I think lots of times when you're putting yourself out there and saying lots of this stuff, like people can take things the wrong way. or they're mad at themselves for something. Like I had that guy
100%.
reach out to me and he's like, he commented about how he's like, it's for somebody who talks about family and life and kids and family being priority in their overall health. He's like, I've seen you weaving in and out of pylons on the highway at 60 to 100 kilometers an hour, and he looked like a guy that was just living for the moment. And I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, I got Olin suspension and top of the line tires on my bike. Like weaving in and out of those pylons was nothing. I was like, but I said, if you've seen me drive like 200 kilometers an hour on my bike down the highway, I was like, then you got a very valid point. I was like, and that has happened. And then I was gonna jump all over and be like, man, fuck you. Who are you to say this to me? But then I kind of sort of commented back, and then he's like, oh yeah, like I was really enjoying watching your
fitness
journey, right? I was like, well, like, what were you enjoying about that? And he said a couple of things. I was like, well, man, like, what do you got to work on? Well, that bag is so big, the list is so big, like, I don't even know where to start. I was like, well, start. Let's write some of this shit down, right? Like, let's bring. I was like, I'm even willing to sit with you because he made a comment about, oh, you're just trying to sell a T-shirt, and I said, I'll even sit down with you. I'll help you break your stuff down, and we can see what the easy ones are, and we'll bang some of this out. Like, let's do it. And I was like, and I won't even make you sign up for my coaching or buy one of my T-shirts. Like at the end of it, right? And then I was like, man, let's sit down. I'll help you. And, well, I'm not ready yet. So at the beginning, he was like trying to throw me under the bus for riding my motorcycle, and at the end, it was because he's obviously there's some things that he wants to work on himself on a fitness wise because he said his health has deteriorated. And it's like, well, and so I could have done one of two things. I could have like torn my new ass, or I could have gone into I could have approached it the other way, right? Like, here, I'll help you. And then he didn't want the help, so that's okay. Because when I'm even like with employees and stuff, I've always said, it's like, as long as you're pouring energy into your, because I've had guys be like, nobody's ever treated me like this. I'm like, as long as you are putting energy into yourself and working on yourself, even when you mix up, you slip up, I got your back. Right, but with an employee, for me, it's like, well, if you stop working on yourself and you're just using excuses and the same old bad habits, I was like, well, then I can take that energy and I can focus it and help somebody else instead. So
well, that's just
I'm willing to help you if you want to help yourself. If you don't want to help yourself and we don't align, or you just want to do your own excuses and bullshit, then bring it on somewhere else, because I got shit to do and I got people I can help that actually want to help themselves.
Well, that's just it. And I think that's what it comes down to, bottom of the line. The reason at the end of the day, guys, whether it's some nasty message coming back or a nice message, all of your comments and your voice and your opinions are all valid, and all we want to do here at the end of the day is help people become the best versions of themselves and just really enjoy who they are as a human and enjoy their life more, right? Like, that's all we really at the core of our being just really care about people, and that's what's important to us, and we want to see other people succeed. What fills our cups is seeing other people win, right?
I like seeing somebody get through a barrier that they were working on for quite some time, and then seeing their eyes light up and that big smile of achievement. Like honest, happy, genuine happiness of achieving a goal that was far out. And they're the ones that do it.
Well, that's
right. Like, that's the thing is, and then it's like, oh, I've had guys be like, oh man, you helped me, or I couldn't have done this without you. So you're goddamn right, you could have. Right, but you might have had to search for these tools that worked for you in a different way, but like if you really want it, you could have done it. But I'm happy that I could be a part of your journey and I could hand you some of those tools.
Well, that's just it. It's like, you know what? We're just offering little ideas of things that have worked for us, and we're constantly a work in progress too. Like perfection is like not something we're interested in. We're just aiming to just have little bits of progress along the journey and learn as we go. Like, we fall down, we make mistakes, like, we're human too.
I've helped guys connect with their teenage sons.
Yeah.
Multiple guys reconnect with their teenage kids, and it's not because, and it's like, well, how the fuck are you gonna know what you're talking about, Rick? You don't have teenage kids. No shit, Sherlock. Like, fuck, right? Like, but I it doesn't mean I couldn't help them,
right?
And give them a different point of view or a different perspective or a different strategy, or like, you know what I mean? Like no, like, and are we gonna go through our shit with our kids where they come home in a cop car or something, or they do something stupid? Well, hell yeah, like we ain't perfect. Is there gonna be things that the kids are like, oh man, when I remember when Dad used to do this, and we're like, oh man, I hate that, or something like that's gonna drive them? Yeah.
Yeah,
like, no
great.
shit. But at least I'm paying attention to it, and hopefully I can adapt and teach them to communicate and keep that barrier, that bridge back and forth of communication, so that like when I'm doing something wrong, we can relate, and I'm not hiding my flaws from the kids.
No.
When I fuck something up, I want them. They're 6 and 5, and when I do something, I'm like, oh yeah, well no, Daddy screwed that up. Oh, mommy sad. Well, Daddy was a bit of a dinkus malenkus, right? And
Or
now,
mommy's upset with her, like we allow our
we
kids
share that shit with the
to
kids.
see, is going through a hard time, and it's really cool for the kids to see how they respond to it too, and it is kind of like,
Hey boys, 6 and 5-year-old. Here's a life decision that mommy and daddy are trying to figure out right
And
now.
help them make a
do you guys want to get a puppy that we've been talking about getting a Cane Corso, or do you guys want to go on a holiday to the desert?
Yeah.
Because it's about the same dollar value. And if we get the puppy, we're not going down there.
Right.
Right? And we let them be a part of our family decision on that.
Right.
Right? Like we don't obviously ask them stuff that is too expansive for a child's brain.
Right.
Like,
But we want them to feel like, they're inclusive in the decisions we make, and also just like they're little human beings learning and growing just like we are too, right? So if we can help them.
I want them involved in everything.
Yeah.
I want business over here and
Growing these little humans over here.
and then marriage over here. This is our life, everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes we focus a little bit more energy this way. Sometimes we have to focus it this way. Right now we're just focusing on it to try and keep the poop outside and not on the carpets in the house. Right? It's like, holy Christ. But it's like, it's just bending, adapting, and learning. It's like, oh, we got a puppy. I got some extra time right now. It's a good time for me to teach a puppy. And it's like, oh my God, teaching a puppy with toddlers in the house and another dog who's super attached and doesn't like other dogs.
And a wife who just wants the dog to sleep in the bed even though the dog can't sleep in the bed.
This is a whole different bag of worms that I wasn't even thinking. Now I'm trying to teach a wife and teach kids and teach a grown-up dog while I'm training a puppy. Right, but whatever. We band adapt. We've been changing morning schedules. Have been changing. This has been like working this way, working that. This morning, you woke up and you said, "Keiko's ready to go outside or something." I'm like, no shit. I was just taking my morning piss, which is my routine, so that I don't have to piss on the front lawn when I'm out there with the puppy. But thanks for telling me the dog needs to go outside and handing him to me.
Dog needs to pee, honey. You're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh, really? Thanks for that. Here, hand him over. I'll go outside in the snow. I guess I'll just pee on the front lawn.
Oh my God.
Like it's all bending and adapting. We're just trying to help people with tools that we've learned on our journey in life and the experiences that we have experienced thus far, and the money we've invested in coaches that we've learned from, and the time that we've invested, and that's all. So if you don't like it and you don't relate, then don't watch any of our shit.
Right? That's just it. Like
go follow somebody that you relate with better. But if you do relate and there's questions that you have or whatever, then reach out. And nobody's gonna agree with everything that we say on anything. And I wouldn't want, if everybody agreed on everything, life would be boring. You are yin, I am yang. Right? Most of the time it's a good circle. Sometimes the colors mesh and there's a little mini explosion. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like it's not. If everybody was the same, life would be shitty.
You need opposites to exist, man. Like, right? You need that in life for everything to exist.
And to push you.
Right? And to push you, yeah. And I think it's incredible. So, you know what, guys? We're just here trying to better people and
ourselves.
And ourselves.
We literally sit down, even lots of our social media that you do and that I do. Let's make sure our battery's not dying on the camera. But like lots of your stuff is stuff that you need to hear, so it helps you. And lots of my stuff is just things that I'm going through right now to show people is like, hey, you're not alone, man. Not alone. Struggle's real. Life, real struggle. Before we run out of time, but I said that about like the kids the other day too, and we've talked about it. And it's like I want to be that shelter of safety for our kids, so much, but at the same time, it's not useless, but it's not as helpful. You have to protect them when shit is super serious, but you also have to let them learn so that when they get out in the real world, that they have the conscious brain that can actually function, that can get them out of situations on their own. You have to give them the tools to survive in real life versus protecting or taking them out of real life and then setting them up for failure.
Right. And I think that's like we talked about this the other day about failure, where it's like failure just means you're trying, man. If you're not failing and if you're good at everything, like I think failure is actually something that we're trying to like instill in the kids, that that's okay. Like, you are trying, man.
Yeah. The real world is an elite soccer league where it just kicks you around, you get beat up back and forth.
The struggle is real, man. The grind.
If you take the kid that plays rec soccer that gets a participation trophy for sitting on the sidelines the whole time, and you put him into AAA soccer, he's going to get his ass fucking whooped. Right. So if you can actually teach them how to train, teach them how to better themselves, discipline, focus, learn how to, or so that they can learn how to learn from losing. Yeah, I think you're set up better. But what do I know? I guess I don't have 30-year-old kids, so I don't know shit.
No.
No, it's like,
that's not it at all.
That's our
take on it. And I think I've always been so afraid of that failure thing too. But honestly, the more you have those failures and setbacks, it actually takes your mind and puts it into that position to try to figure it out more, rather than if you're always accomplishing and everything's working for you. Like, if life's coming too easy for you, then you're not trying hard enough. You're not putting yourself out there for bigger things. Like, you need to dream a bit bigger. You need to put yourself out there more. Like,
I went through that for a long time.
What?
Oh, that it was just like, this kind of seems easy. Like, I don't know if this is.
Sometimes it's easy. That's great. You're in your flow and you're rocking. That's good. But then now it's time to level up. If you're finding this too easy for too long, let's grow, suckers. Let's go. Like,
I pulled my head out of my ass and I was like, I hate where I am.
Right? That's me too. You get sitting in that comfort zone for too long, and then you stay there because it's comfortable. But then when you start feeling that, like, where it's hard again and you're getting knocked down. But when you're in that, you're pivoting, you're figuring out, you're actually like discovering more ways to do the things.
So, this is fun.
This is fun.
Figuring shit out.
It sucks, but it's fun. And if it's like got that little bit of fear and a little bit of excitement at the same time, and then you're crying one day, and then you're figuring it out.
It's like a brand new relationship, that fresh love. We were just watching that movie the other day. It's like, oh, that's exciting.
Right?
They're like figuring each other out. And then this doesn't go well, and then this goes well, and then they get the butterflies, and then they have their first fight. And it's like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, that's a cool, that is a cool experience in life. Yeah. Like, meeting somebody and falling for them and having, like.
Try to look at life like that, though, too. My mentor, Candace, is like that, too. She's like, she's really good at looking at life like a playground and being like more of life is like curious, right? Rather than being so scared of these obstacles, she's like looks at it with curiosity, which is a really cool way to approach.
Opportunity.
Yeah.
I had
approach life that way.
A mentor told me, is like, you keep saying trigger. He's like, try not using the word trigger and just use opportunity.
But it's true. The words can really, Anyways, guys, you guys rock. Another episode. We'll be back again, and honestly, all questions, all comments, anything, the good, the bad, the ugly, send it our way. We'll address anything. We love talking about it all.
If you want to have a swear off, send me a swear in the DM.
Send me a nasty DM.
Well, I'll do that shit too. Peace out.
Peace out. Peace.